late, again. I can't believe it. Well, I can kind of believe it. Hunter and his boyfriend kept me up all night. It was just hours of headbanging and wall-rattling madness. I guess I cannot blame those two. They were loud, but I am the one who became a lurking creep. Normal people would have stayed in bed, maybe even put on headphones to block out the noise. The little voice in my head did warn me, stay in bed, you have a heavy workload tomorrow. Did I listen? No. I went super secret agent last night like a modern-day Natika minus the guns. I was nearly weightless as I walked on my toes down the hallway. I even shifted down onto my hands and knees, trying not to make the wood underneath me creak. I got a few splinters in my thumb and 2 of my fingers in the process. I shed a few tears and my thumb bled pretty bad. I did all of that just to peek into Hunter's room. Even with kiddie-themed bandages wrapped around several fingers, I have to say it was kind of worth it. I'm not ashamed to say I'd do it all again. I have a problem. Now I'm late for work. So late. Trying to come through the revolving door, I balanced the cup holder of coffees and my umbrella in separate hands. Unable to close the wired rain cover, I dropped my umbrella to enter the building. While shouting an apology to the busy people on the pavement who now have to walk around my clumsiness, I push my way through the revolving door. The fast-walking people do not care for my apology. Those who can see me through the glass doors yell curse words, and a few even give me the finger. I did apologize. What more do they want? They aren't the only ones running late this Thursday morning. The elevator doors are closing as I turn my attention to the lobby. I take 3 large leaps toward the steel doors. Nearly losing a heel, and keeping the 4 coffees safe, I slide between the closing doors. I bump into a fellow assistant, but she doesn't approve of my apology either. I should have waited for the second elevator since it was coming back down anyway. This elevator is filled with underpaid assistants and angry secretaries. There is Rachel from the 3rd floor and Chelsea from the 5th. April and Hope both reside on the 10th floor while Megan is from the 15th. Nancy works for the graphic designers on the 20th floor. Her younger sister, Gretchen, is the secretary for the more accomplished marketing associates on the 23rd level. Paris has ducked her way up the assistant ladder and is currently on the 29th floor. I'm pretty sure she'll be taking Claire's job on the 30th floor by next week. Then there is me on the 34th floor, where the real bigwigs work. Unlike some of these skanky undergraduates, I am working to change my title from an assistant to an agent. One day, hopefully soon, I will have my office in this very building. Not working behind some school top desk and bringing in coffee for the paycheck writers. What better place to work than Hamilton and Montgomery Incorporated? It's one of the highest acclaimed advertising agencies in the Philadelphia area, mainly because they bought most of the other firms. I'm heading right to the 34th floor. The elevator doors open and close when it reaches the requested floors. Soon, I am the only assistant in the steel box. With room to move, I place the cup holder on the floor and let my wet coat fall off my shoulders. I see myself through the reflective wall with the buttons. My hair has barely survived the whipping wind and rain I had to walk through this morning. The part in the middle of my curls has frizzed over. I only have my cloche hat to cover my wild hair and save me from facing my boss this way. Taking the hat out from my coat pocket, I pull it down tight over the frizzy mess. The doors open as I pick up the cup holder and my coat. I exit the elevator, hoping my tardiness will go unnoticed. You jackass! My boss screaming hits me as I step into the wide corridor. Are you done yet? You'll know when I'm done. I'll just fold my arms and storm off the way you do. Despite having fewer people, the 34th floor is louder than the other levels. Ironically, the work being done is not the cause of the commotion. I march past several shut doors lining the corridor. Only 3 sales representatives, other than the bosses, reside on this floor. Through the glass walls surrounding their workplaces, I notice they are either talking on their phones or typing on their laptops. Basically, All three are doing anything they can to block out the ridiculous level of noise. My roommate, best friend, and non-biological other half, Hunter, is peeking out of the file room. He is the only one eavesdropping on the conversation. This is not the time or place. Where's your respect for this company? The hell with you and this company. Husband and wife power duo, Travis Hamilton and Catherine Schuyler Montgomery, have been married for nearly 20 years. They met when the firm was simply Montgomery Arts under Catherine's parents. Travis was an intern, who quickly worked his way up in the ranks even before graduating. Catherine, on the other hand, was exactly what she is now, spoiled, drunk, and living off of her father's name. After her mother's death 10 years ago, her father retired and signed the firm over to his daughter and son-in-law. Travis points a finger in his wife's face, his left hand is tucked in the pocket of his slacks. You need to learn when to speak and when to stay quiet. I am not a child. Catherine slapped his hand down. Do not talk down to me. Then stop acting like one. Maybe then I'll talk to you like an adult. Travis does the heavy lifting at the firm. He's the type of advertising executive I hope to become one day. He overlooks everything the company does. Travis assigns the cases and even takes an agent off a case when he feels they aren't handling the assignment properly. Or what? Are you finally going to give me a divorce? Catherine aka Schuyler is basically the face of the company. After all, there is no Hamilton and Montgomery, Inc. without at least one Montgomery working. She doesn't have any clients, but she does have a lot of private meetings in her office. Maybe I'll be the one to draw up the paperwork this time. She bellows in his face. You're drunk. He turns to walk toward his office, leaving his wife in the middle of the wide hallway. Those two words always bring their arguments to an end. I am still several feet away, but I can tell my boss reeks of alcohol. Catherine finds comfort in a straight shot of, well, anything. Schuyler stumbles to find more words before simply retreating with a scream of frustration at the back of his head. Travis does not even glance over his shoulders. The female agent nearly jumps out of her seat at the high-pitched wail. I saw it coming, yet I am still startled by the dramatic outburst. Catherine's long, red hair brushes her cheek as she turns her head. You're late. She is staring straight at me. Don't stand there. Bring me my tea and get to work. Schuyler turns to walk in the opposite direction of her husband, and I rush over to follow her. Walking so fast to keep up with my employer, I can barely stop my feet from sliding me on the top-covered wall. The top has been here for nearly a year. You'd think I would know how to control my footing around this wall by now. When it finally comes down next year, the entire wall will house 2 or 3 new offices. A girl can only hope one will be hers shortly. The cup holder in my hand is already turned for Schuyler to grab the appropriate cup. She pulls it from its pocket, and after one little sip her nose turns up. Her eyes narrow to slits, her fair skin turns a dark shade of red, and her head is shaking. With a slight change in her pouty lips, the new expression on her face is screaming at me. It's a mix of why did I hire you and you've been here too long to be messing this up. What the hell is this? Catherine pushes the cup into my chest, nearly causing the top to pop off. Sorry. The alcohol must have destroyed your taste buds. Before my apology reaches her ears, the intoxicated queen enters her hive. I try to hand her another cup, but the door slams shut in my face. Tucking the cup back in its holder, I turn the knob to enter the office. Try this one. Unable to find a clear spot on the cluttered desk, I stand holding the cup for her to take. Schuyler simply stares at me and the cup. My body is still fairly wet from the rain. Chill bumps cover my arms and legs despite the long-sleeve blouse and stockings I'm wearing. My extended arm begins to shudder as I tolerantly wait for her to take the cup. The damp coat draped over my arm is weighing me down, and I know Catherine can read through my weak grin. My body is shivering right in front of her, yet she reclines in her $1,000 office chair and just stares. It feels like minutes are just flying by. Minutes that will most likely be taken out of my paycheck this week. Why are you wearing that hat? The rain messed up. Stop. I don't care. I guess the amusement is done because Catherine suddenly takes the cup. If this one is bad, I'm looking for a new assistant. Maybe you should add your sweeteners to it. Her eyes shrink a bit smaller as she stares at me and her pink lips pucker out. Catherine does not part her lips to speak as her hand reaches into a drawer of her desk. She does not take her narrow eyes off of me as she pulls a nearly empty bottle of vodka out of the drawer and uses her teeth to open it. The cap to the coffee cup snaps off and she pours the alcohol into the warm liquid. The tea floats up to the cup's rim, and Catherine swallows the rest of the vodka by itself. Why are you still standing here? She tosses the bottle at me. I catch the neck of the bottle before it falls to the ground. Get to work. I exit Catherine's hive, mumbling a few nasty words about the drunken older woman. Right outside her office is my workspace. It's only a plain, wooden desk, but I call it mine. I hang my coat on the back of my chair before peeking inside the glass walls of Catherine's office. She's turned her seat around, so I can only see the back of her leather chair. The lonesome drunk is either hiding tears or looking at the storm clouds outside her window. Either way, I am in the clear for a few minutes. I hurry down the hall to deliver the other beverages. On the way, I am stopped by a lurking secretary. Paris James is walking around, peeking into the offices and making little notes in her book. Are you lost? She turns to acknowledge me. No. I am trying to figure out who will make the better boss. I thought of taking your job. Then I realized that without you I may have to work. That would be a pain. Yeah. Working for a living would be a pain. I smile after mocking her. Paris takes a beverage from the cup holder. Unknown to her, it is the same tea Catherine dismissed a few seconds ago. Taking a sip of the drink, Paris returns to the elevator. The doors open and she waves at me. Tomorrow morning, same thing. She says, holding up the cup. The doors close, and she is out of sight. It will be interesting to see how that drink affects her day. I continue down the hall with the last two beverages. Hunter's desk sits in a corner beside Travis's office. His setup is much better than mine. Hunter has a larger desk and a printer. There's a file cabinet and Travis lets him keep photos and knickknacks on his desk. I guess to anyone else Hunter's space isn't all that special. To me, it's an amazing luxury I do not get to have. He doesn't have to leave his desk to make copies and his chair is padded. That qualifies as special to me. Look who finally woke up. Hunter teases. A light shade of blush touches my light complexion. Who says I ever went to sleep? I place his coffee on the desk. After getting an eye full of Hunter and his boy toy, I crawled back to my room and had some me time until 4 a.m. My body had gone numb and I was frozen on the bed. Eyes open, mouth too dry to speak, yet I was completely alert. Even when I heard Hunter in the hall preparing for work, I still could not move a muscle. Stop spying on me. Hunter leaned back in his seat, fingers looped together behind his head. Stop being so loud. He chortles. The door to Travis's office opens, and we cease our giggle party. Unlike the other agents, Travis keeps the blinds around his office down. He isn't a fan of the openness the glass walls provide. He enjoys privacy and quiet. Always serious and keeping his eye on the prize, Travis works in isolation unless he has a client with him. I quickly get off of Hunter's desk, and my friend straightens up in his seat. We both pretend to have been working the entire time. Good morning, Mr. Hamilton. I greet first. Overachieving is in my blood. I brought you a coffee. Black, no cream, and 2 sugars. Thank you, Ashley. He accepts my offer. I needed this earlier. I know I should have been here, but for some reason I overslept. It's okay. I wasn't making that remark toward you. Travis chortles. This is Hunter's job after all. I see Hunter smirking out of the corner of my eye. Hell will have to freeze over for him to order coffee for someone else. Travis hands Hunter a piece of notebook paper. I need this memo typed up and sent to all the tenants. Tenants on the 34th floor. I cover my mouth with my hand to stifle the giggles. Hunter does so much half-ass work I'm surprised someone as serious as Travis keeps him around. All of the agents, Travis says. On every floor, I add. Thank you, again, Ashley. Travis grins before walking back into his office. Enjoy your day. Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. You too. The door shuts. Hunter exhales. Do you know how many agents are in this building? At least 30. Such an overachiever. You should take over this for me. I should, but I won't. Come on, Jordan. Hunter nudges my arm as he calls me by my nickname. This might give you a good excuse to get away from Skylar and work with Travis. As much as I'd love to get away from her, this is not my job. I fold my arms together, a narrow smile playing on my lips. Hunter grins. We both know you have a thing for the old man. 46 is not old. Try telling that to Skylar. Sure. We have to pretend she's still 29. I joke. You can't turn 29th 5 times. Hunter jokes. Either way, he has a thing for you, too. Now you're talking crazy. I'm serious. The real evidence is the way he looks at you. He doesn't look at me in any particular way. You wouldn't know because you barely make eye contact with him. It's quite cute. Your voice gets high, and your face gets all red. Travis smiles and his whole face lights up. No, it does not. You realize he never smiles unless he's talking to you. Hunter nods his head. I see things, therefore, I know all. You're talking crazy, so I'm going to leave. What? I support your love. An 18-year gap is nothing. Hunter takes a hold of my hand when I try to leave. No. Stay. Let's gossip. We live together. There's nothing new for us to talk about. We could plan your wedding, Mrs. Hamilton. I'm not getting married. We could plan yours though, Mrs. Moore. I tease using the last name of Hunter's man. You've crossed the line, bitch. Bye. Hunter gets up just to push me away from his desk. I giggle when the office door opens again. I part my lips to apologize, ready to run to my desk, but the boss speaks first. Ashley. May I speak with you for a moment? Travis holds his door open for me. I nod my head as I walk into his office. The door closes behind us.